the new oil, fueling innovation and driving decision-making at every level. A world whereby today's students and professionals alike are using AI not only to automate routine tasks, but also to augment or supplement the capabilities that we're having today, enabling us to solve what you can call complex numerical problems, both intuitive and everything else. Gen I is shaping over different aspects of our life today. We are witnessing new levels of efficiency, new levels of creativity, and it's not something that we can say is coming into the future. It's a present reality. Now, the integration of AI and data into all these professional lives, be it from the starting levels to the most advanced level, is something that is altering the landscape of careers today. It demands that each and every individual will rethink traditional career paths, embrace lifelong learning, and adapt to the constantly evolving job markets. As we navigate this dynamic environment, our ability to harness the power of AI and data will be what you can call a critical determinant of our professional success. And I want to tell us all that in as much as all this is coming in together, we are not lost in it. And for today, this discussion, we're going to explore how this AI and data is reshaping career growth, the skills and mindset that we require to succeed, and the strategies to harness these technologies for our own professional developments. That's why we have also brought in a seasoned speaker and an expert on this topic. That is, I call him Doctor. You'll allow me to call you Doctor just for this session, Dr. David Kamande. Now, David is a competent data analyst, certified as an Oracle database PL and SQL developer. He's also a certified professional, 2024, and an Oracle certified associate in Oracle 11G database administration. He's also certified in Oracle Linux 5 and 6 systems administration, and he has over 18 years of experience in the banking industries, with 8 of the 18 years at the data centers. He has applied his skills in data wrangling, validation, report design, audit, forensic investigation, extract transformation and load, and business function designs. Currently, David is a content developer and a trainer at Predictive Analytics Lab with regards to SQL and related database system. He's well versed with operational and security aspects of ICT governance, and is also skilled in Python programming, data modeling, and visualization. He's passionate about data and has pursued postgraduate certification in data science and business analytics at the University of Texas in Austin. He is a good communicator and has a certified command of both English and French languages. He's also certified in ITIL, CSA, CSM, and ISO ISMS implementation. And David was appointed in January 2023 as a volunteer reviewer of CompTIA SatMaster Learn and SatMaster Labs Data Plus course. So at this moment, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you, David, to take over the floor. Kindly share with us and dispense to us your immense knowledge. We're really hoping to learn from you. And guys, kindly be free. Open your ears of understanding. Be ready to learn, relearn, and learn as always. David, welcome so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ken. I must say I am greatly honored to speak in this session, and maybe I'll say to share my own journey in the path of data, and maybe just as Ken started off by saying, is data is the new oil, and because of that, everybody wants a piece of it. As in, everybody wants to see if they can be able to mine this new oil, to make the best out of it, to build a career in it, and equally to, of course, make a living out of it. My story is not different. So maybe the best way to start, because Today's session is actually not too much on the technologies, but maybe it's more on, let's say, you are interested in establishing a career in the data domain, and maybe you are at the door and you're trying to figure out how do I get in, how do I establish myself, how do I chart my path, and how do I find a foundation in this. And so basically, if I'm to say how I will structure this session, one, of course, I'll give you my own story so that if you can learn from it, you pick your points. Then I will also give a brief overview of my thoughts. Actually, the idea is for people to pick from my thoughts what I think works in establishing or in launching a career in data and AI. And so to start off, as Ken has said, I've been working in the banking industry for many, many years. And I never started as a data person. As a matter of fact, I don't even have an IT background. I started just as a junior clerical officer in the bank. But it didn't take me too long to realize that especially in the banking industry, a clerical officer is not exactly a professional. Yeah, he or she is just a person who can be utilized, at different points where the bank needs somebody. Today you're a teller, tomorrow you're doing this, and I wanted a career that I can establish myself and have a direction in it. So I can call myself that I am, let's say, like right now, I consider myself a data analyst. I wanted a career that when somebody asks me, what do you do? I'm able to without putting too many words, just say that this is what I do, and they're able to comprehend. Like, previously, when I was a clerical officer, it was very difficult for me to explain exactly, especially when I'm writing my CV. I used to have a big challenge to say what exactly I do, because I was in a branch, and I would do 1 minute I'm a teller, the next minute I'm in the customer service, the next minute I am maybe handling the what we call mandates. And so what I did, I took some courses that enabled me maybe to transition into ICT first. By the time I transitioned into ICT, actually that's when I certified as a CISA auditor. That is Certified Information Systems Auditor. So that is how I managed to transition my career fast into IT. And when I eventually managed to join the IT team, it was at a point where institutions were just embracing what we call the relational database management system. We were moving from something called the flat file system into relational database management system. And so after a very short period of time, I was able to establish that this is the way to go. This is, or rather, this is where the market is heading at that point. So I invested some skill in relational database management system, and especially in SQL. And over time, as the data world has now opened up to now data analytics and generally the data science, it found me at least with the foundational skill of SQL. And I will not say I have arrived. I am also each day investing to learn new skills to be able to establish myself as an authority. However, I must say that at least what has happened is I've continued to build on what I know into the next level. Like, for example, after learning SQL, then I built on it and started learning other technologies to support that which I already know. So my forte, if I was to talk about it, is I am a data analyst. Yeah, that doesn't limit me in any way, but at least that is my identity. I am more of a data analyst, and I also do. I'm able to do business intelligence, development, if I may say so. Having said that, the data world is opening up at such a fast pace that I like the way when even the Elon Musk and the others are asked, where are we heading with the AI? And they are honestly saying they also don't know. That tells you that, it has just opened a big, or rather, it has opened a big window of things that we were not able to see before, or it has enabled us to see things in a manner that we had never even imagined. And because of that, everyone, unfortunately, because of the speed at which things are taking shape, or rather they are transforming, things, you find that things have not yet established an equilibrium. It's not like, for example, a career like in accounting. When an accountant says, this is what I do, we are all clear on it. When a data analyst says, I am a data analyst, in my organization, what a data analyst does might be totally different from what a data analyst does in Google, for instance. Yeah. So we are still trying to find our space in a rapidly changing environment. But that said, I like to first give this story. During the Second World War, there was the army, the British Army was collecting data to establish which is the best, which is the best way to protect their airmen when they go to bomb the enemy territories. And what was interesting about it is that when the airplanes that had been there and had been shot at and made it back were analyzed, people tended to fortify the places where they saw that there were bullets. Yeah, the places where they saw that bullets had hit those places, until one analyst, he was a mathematician, I think he was called Alan something, I can't remember the name clearly, until a mathematician came and gave them a clearer image of what is called the survivor fallacy. You see, they were analyzing data based on the planes that made home. Yeah, the planes that were actually able to go to the bombing and come back. And so he actually told them, we cannot limit ourselves to that which we are seeing, because there are other planes that did not make home. And possibly those planes that did not make home, it's because they were hit in the areas that we are not seeing. Actually, the ones that made home, we are analyzing based on only the ones that we can see where they were hit. But how about those ones that did not how about the ones that did not make home? Possibly the places they were hit are more critical. And because of that, it opened up the minds of the people who are analyzing and fortifying the planes, so that they focus on where the problem actually was. And I think that is the essence of data. The essence of data and data science is enabling us, opening our eyes beyond, just intuition, just thinking, oh, I feel like the market will move in this direction and that direction. Having maybe just given that background, I'll first start by giving what has generally been accepted as a launching path for a career in data science. Many of us as data analysts, and I mean, I follow quite a number of them, we have sort of a consensus. This is not the rule, but there's a consensus that if today you are the one starting a career in data science and you're trying to chart your path, you don't have any experience, you don't have any, you don't have any knowledge, and today is day one. Actually, today, at this point, it's day zero. The best approach to launching a career in terms of gaining skill has always been agreed that it's best to start maybe with a spreadsheet. In this case, maybe we can talk of Excel, which I believe most of us are conversant with. Why? Because Excel gives you basically the foundation of thinking programmatically. By the time you're starting to introduce formulas and logic into an Excel sheet, you're already starting to think programmatically and thinking of the solution at the end of it. Maybe just to point out that many of us have the wrong approach of data analytics as a technology solution. In actual sense, most of the data analytics happens, or the heavy lifting happens in the analyst's mind, in the sense that you think of the end, you think of the solution that you want, then based on that, you start building your model, you start building maybe using the different technologies to coin up the solution that you want. And as a matter of fact, I have seen time and again a data analyst job that actually require nothing more than Excel. Why do analysts prefer somebody starts with Excel? Actually, I believe I am also in agreement to what others have said. Excel probably is the simplest to learn of the technologies that are in the data, in the data domain. Yeah, it's the easiest, it's the most available. And one way or the other, for as long as you're handling figures, you will not avoid encountering Excel. After that, the next technology that most analysts recommend is you learn SQL. That is structured query language. Structured query language has the advantage of using natural English. Yeah, natural English. So for anyone who knows English, they should be in a position to launch a career in SQL. And it's interesting because even as I continue building, for me in particular, as I continue building my career and my path in the data domain, my strongest point for many years has been SQL. Yeah, with nothing else. I mean, like Python, I just learned Python not more than 3-4 years ago. So you can see that I've been able to mine SQL. SQL has been my forte. Why is SQL a strong point? Because before we even go to the complex machine learning models and all that, there are basic reports. And unfortunately, systems don't store data in a format that is friendly for reporting. For instance, when I train my SQL class, I always tell them that the transaction processing system will save data, it will save orders, it will save transactions and all that. But when we are doing a report, what will be required, you'll find that somebody will want this data in a format like let's say, for example, it's for KPI. We want to pay our salespeople by commission. I will need to have the basic skill of grouping that data and be able to present it in a manner that is well understood by the management, to qualify for them to pay our salespeople, commensurate commissions or something like that. And so SQL is a very strong foundational skill. After Excel, I would come to SQL. And SQL, the good thing, it's not very complex. It's fairly easy. And in fact, it uses more or less the same logic of Excel, only that for most organizations, of course, they don't store data in Excel. They store in SQL because SQL is more secure. So SQL enables you to interact with organizational data. And because of that, most analysts will recommend that after you've done Excel, then go to SQL. Then what next? After Excel, and now or rather after SQL, the next maybe recommended technology that one might want to teach themselves is Python, or maybe Python or R, but mostly the leaning is usually more towards Python. Python is slightly more advanced, if I would say so, than SQL, but with it comes a lot of versatility. For instance, if you are to do visualization and all that kind of a thing, you'll find that SQL does not allow you maybe to draw charts and all that kind of a thing. It only allows you to fetch data, maybe to wrangle it in a very limited way. But eventually, Python now broadens your skill as a data person, because at the end of the day, as a data analyst, remember your objective is to talk, to communicate with data, to tell a story with data, to inform somebody with data, to resolve a problem using data. So Python now broadens your toolbox, so that now you are able to not only wrangle the data, but also maybe create visualization tools and or rather charts and the likes. So after Python, and in fact, Python is much easier to integrate with now other systems. Like, for example, if you want to automate a report, you want to automate a report so that maybe somebody clicks a button and they are able to refresh their data, you'll find that maybe Python will be a more powerful tool to use compared to SQL. After Python, the next thing is investing in a visualization now a visualization tool. In this case, maybe we can talk of things like Power BI, we can talk of Tableau, we can talk of Dash and the likes. Why? Because as I said, the objective is to communicate using data, and the people you're communicating with, especially at very high levels, they want a very summarized way of you telling them the story. So if you want to venture, or rather into telling stories using visual tools, then after maybe building on Python, which in itself is able to do some of the visualization, some of its libraries like PyPlot and the likes are able to do that. But now you can broaden your skill into specifically the visualization part, and you can actually build a career specifically just around visualization. Then where do we go next now from these basic tools? So I've said the basics would be Excel, probably SQL, Python or R, and a visualization tool. But how do we progress from here? My thoughts is for somebody who is just starting out, is to pick a point of strength, from the four subdomains, I would protocol, or rather technologies that I've discussed, is to pick a point and realize that this is my strongest point. Yeah. For instance, as much as I have done visualization and I have a bit of knowledge on Excel and even on Python, personally, I have built my career around SQL. So like if I have to handle data, my approach from somebody who is stronger in Python would be different, because for me, I will try and, do the data wrangling, summarization and everything in SQL and pass the data ready for, let's assume we have the same task of maybe presenting the data in visual form, in charts and the likes. Personally, based on my strength as an SQL person, I will do all my data wrangling in SQL and ensure that I only pass the data to Python when it's ready for visualization. However, for the person who finds their strength in Python, even if they know a bit of SQL, of course, what would be most sensible is to pull the data first into Python and then do the data wrangling within the domain where they are more competent. And so basically, as some after maybe having the foundational knowledge of the technologies, it's important to quickly start establishing where is my strongest of points. Yeah, where is my strongest of points? And maybe as a guideline, two things come to mind. First, what I call adult learning. Yeah, adult learning, and two, relevance. Actually, in adult learning, maybe if I can give this illustration. A few days ago, my colleague was going on leave and he taught me some of the things so that I can sit in for him. And what happened is I even wrote very nice notes and all that. But the minute I sat down and started trying to do exactly what he told me, I quickly started seeing the gaps that I had. Why? Because we as adults, and maybe this is a background I would hope each and every one of us would have. We as adults, we learn based on two things: practical application and relevance. So why am I bringing this point? As you try to build a forte or a strong point, the best approach to it is something that you're able to apply right now. Like, for example, pick something that, if it's possible, you will interact with that domain in your current area of, in your current domain of work where you're working right now. Why? Because as adults, we are bombarded with too much information. And even after going to class, like for example, I've taken several courses all over. And I realized that the only things that I retain are those ones which I know that as an adult, it will solve a problem for me, in the near future. Yeah, like I will be able to apply that skill immediately. So to enable you to build a strong point, yeah, if you realize, like for example, but this is mostly if you have at least a place to apply this, like you're already in employment, the best is to see what is currently being used in the organization where I am. Yeah, you may want to go into something that you feel is more lucrative, but it's better to have at least a strong point, a strong base based on what you interact with every day, because otherwise, the way we as adults learn, you'll find that your mind will filter out these things that you're trying to learn, because at the back of your mind, it doesn't. Your mind is aware that you're not going to apply this skill right away, or rather, you're not going to apply it, let's say, in a known place. Yeah. So I encourage each and every one of us as you're launching, like for example, what gave me an edge in SQL is because the minute I learned it, I found that, you know, as the organization was transitioning into relational database management system, each day I had a problem that I had to solve using SQL. And unknowingly, it's interesting because I mean, I have colleagues in the same unit, even our job description is the same, but they never maybe focused in building a skill in SQL. But so over time, because of my interest, I was able to build a very strong SQL base, yeah, based on my day-to-day work, yeah. And it's not because my work even required or rather demanded of me always to do that. It's just that I had a place to apply that skill on a day-to-day. So as far as choosing the technology at the formative stage, for instance, when we talk of, let's say, SQL, yeah, one of the things that I encourage somebody who is focused in becoming a data analyst and not a database administrator is pick the easiest technology to set up. For instance, organizations will work with Oracle because it's more secure. It is, or rather, it's said to be more secure. It is better performing and all that kind of a thing. But your interest as a data analyst is not to start setting up very complex databases. You want a database that you can set up quickly and be able now to start practicing your skill as a data analyst. So your interest is not the house, it's not the container, it's the data in and how you are able to manipulate that data. For instance, I personally prefer when you're learning, except maybe recently when things have started moving to the cloud, I used to encourage somebody who is just starting out to start maybe with much more simpler SQL installation, such as PostgreSQL instead of Oracle. Equally, like for example, we find like Python and R are rated more or less the same. Yeah, if you have skill in Python or R, it's more or less, you know, it will give you more or less the same results. However, I would pick personally, I would pick Python over R because one, Python is more versatile, more rather it's more available. It has a richer library, and I find it a bit easier to learn. Yeah, and of course, you want to use the skill. You want to use the library where you can find support much easier. Yeah, so you'll find that of course there are communities that support even R, but it's much easier to find support when it comes to Python over R. Yeah, so as you contemplate which technologies will do I use for, you know, for learning or for practicing, for starting out this career, I would always recommend you start with the one that is easier to grasp and work with and does not require too much supporting knowledge. Like for example, if you set up an Oracle that local database, it becomes a bit complex. But over time, as things have moved to the cloud, and now we have things like the self-tuning, the autonomous databases, things have started changing, and you can now even venture into Oracle on the cloud instead of a local one. Then what else can I say as far as you know, building a base of skill? Remember, work, especially when we are working, maybe this one of the secret I learned from my mentor in the data field. One of the problems that most people who are just starting out in the data world have is they try to cram in all the knowledge. You know, you're trying to get all the knowledge in. Now, that is actually not very practical, because we use a snowballing method, whereby you add a layer of knowledge with every role. Like, as I repeat a certain task over and over, then I add a small layer of knowledge. But how we survive, because I still have to do my work. I still have to deliver to the organization with irrespective of my limited knowledge. How we survive is through cheat sheets and private libraries. Yeah. And I think that is one of the best thing that my mentor into the data world gave to me. He taught me that don't try to cram all the scripts. Don't try to remember everything. But once, let's say, for example, let's say for me in SQL, there's a query, maybe I've Googled, I've done referencing and all that kind of a thing, and I've come up with a working script. Yeah. And I know I will maybe need it in future. Then I create a private library. I store that script so that the next time I will ever encounter that same situation, I will be able to retrieve that query and reuse it. And remember, as part of my work, my boss is not concerned how I accomplished that task. He's only concerned that I was able to accomplish it. So whether the good thing about work, it's not an exam. In fact, the exam is just delivery of the work. So learn to create your own cheat sheets. If you are in the visualization domain, and you come across, let's say, a very nice, dashboard, you want to store that dashboard as a reference, so that the next time you're building a dashboard, you don't have to start from scratch. Yeah, you don't have to start building the dashboard. Have your own toolbox of dashboards, so that, let's say, you're given a task to build a visualization tool, you can quickly glance through your library and see which one works best for me. And why I emphasize on this is, like, for instance, even the application developers, they create a reference material. Like, for example, let me give an example of PLSQL, which is also my domain. There is a reference book that gets updated. And why is it important? Why is it there? It's because even the developers know that it is not practically possible for you to carry all the knowledge on you, but have enough knowledge to be able to and awareness to be able to know that at a given point, I would want, let's say, to tune my, let's say, I want to tune my model. And I think there's this let's say there's XGBoost as a way of tuning the model. Let's say a machine learning model. There's XGBoost, and I want to try it out. Then you can quickly be able to go to the reference material, and you be able to see, will it work with what I am going to do right now? Okay, so learn to create. You see, the good thing about having cheat sheets is they are your private notes. Yeah, they are your private notes. So before you even go to the application developers reference material, you are able to reference your own. You can even recall, I think when I encountered this problem, this is how I solved it. So then I can be able to quickly fetch that query and be able to reuse it. If you told me, I'll be honest with you, if you told me to write most of the PLSQL programs from scratch, I would be stuck. Yet I've written very good programs in the past. But I have a rich library built over many years that I can be able to, when I need a certain, maybe a certain way of managing data, I'm able to go and pick that portion. In fact, I have made it a habit when I write a script and it is very good, I pick that script and send myself on my personal email. Yeah, so that in future, if I need it, so I give it a title and I send myself that script. So the subject is what I usually use to search for it in later on when I need maybe to reference it to build a new script. So having also said that, as you are launching maybe a career in data, I also encourage, based on the different aspects of it. Like, for example, I am a data analyst. There is a data engineer. There is a data scientist. It helps to build a tower. I call it building a broad base and a tall tower around a specific skill. So, like, for example, for myself, I've had to learn other skills that may not even have anything to do with the data analysis. For instance, I've learned I've had to learn skills like Linux administration. Why? Because you find that, yes, I've written maybe a script, but it needs to be automated so that actually the end user can be able to reuse it, not me. Somebody else can be able to reuse it. I want maybe my script to be running every day at midnight. Yeah, of course, at midnight I will not be there. And based on maybe the way our organization works, I can only collect that information at midnight. So I encourage that, you build at least a broad base. Like, for instance, I am not a data scientist, but I have had to invest time and money to learn machine learning, yeah, so that as I interact with other people in the data domain, I am able to understand their perspective. Because like for me, as I give you, let's say, based on my example, you find that data analysts, as we in the data channel, you'll find that as our work is more of to analyze and profile data, so that the data scientist will have clean data to run his models on it. Yeah. So we profile the data. We look at the data we have and say, this data is appropriate for this use. Yeah. So, but by understanding how that by understanding how the next person who will use the data that I will analyze, or rather how my input into the data domain works, then I have I'm able to even be more effective as an analyst. So because of that, I've had to learn a bit of some engineering, as in I would basically say I never throw away an opportunity to learn anything on data. Yeah, like for instance, I am even currently learning on the large language models. Yeah, not because I don't think I will be using it personally, but I would want to have an opening of my mind to know how my data will be able to feed that domain when the time comes to it. Yeah. So as I said, learn to build a broad base. Broad base means don't limit your skill to, like, for example, I don't limit my skill to data analysis. I don't limit my skill to analysis only. Yeah. Then the other thing, remember, you're not you're not doing this thing for the fun of it. I mean, you want a career that pays you, and or rather you want to launch a career. And one of the things that I've seen working very well, yeah, is showcasing even when you're learning. You don't wait until you say, I am good. I didn't have to be good. I mean, you showcase that which you are learning. How do you do that? These days, thank God, we thank God for internet, that now you can be able to you know, to publish yourself, to have a CV out there. And one of the best ways is tools like, let's say, GitHub, Kaggle. You try and show the world that I have this skill. I mean, if it is SQL, if it is machine learning, start where you are, yeah. And maybe just as a comment on that, I had to learn a bit of things to do with web development, which was not even, it did not interest me in any way, so that I can be able to publish my work online and say that, you know, this is a skill I've learned. I'm able to do this. And by doing that, there are people out there who want, actually these days, recruiters, serious recruiters, and especially in the data world, I have noticed they want to quietly observe you for a while before they come, and they want to watch you. They want to see that, you know, they want to see your passion for it. And you see, if you're passionate enough to build something and publish it for free, then it means by the time they are paying you, then, I mean, you will do it even better. Many of us shy away because we are thinking, oh, maybe I'm not too good. You'll be surprised. Somebody out there is looking for somebody who is not too good, because they know that you will not charge them too much. Yeah, because unfortunately, maybe also to point out, there's a very big chasm between you know, the really established people in the data world and what I would say the rest. Yeah, so the guys who are really established, they are very good, they are very expensive equally. So you may find that when you're shying away thinking that, oh, I will not, I'll not be able to showcase my, you know, I mean, my skill is not good enough. Somebody is looking for you. They know they will be able to train you further. Yeah. So always have a mindset of, I'll show what I have learned. And remember, even when you go for an interview, they will have already assessed, you know, some of the skill, and it's like you're walking into an interview with 2 points in already. Yeah, because they've already seen that you are able to do this. Yeah. So I would encourage us, and as I said, I also had to learn some of these skills, like you know, web development and managing my web page and all that, so that I can be able to showcase what I am doing. And I didn't do it because I was very good. I mean, I just did it because I needed the world out there to know that I am passionate about the data world. Yeah. So that's a way also of exposing the world to you, or you to the world. Yeah. So that they are able to see that you are passionate, you're interested in this domain, and you know, reach out to you, basically. You wouldn't be publishing if you're not interested in people reaching out to you. The other thing maybe I also recommend is, as much as we say that it's data science, the other part, I can tell you the truth is, it's also an art. Okay, it's an art. Why am I saying that? For instance, if we are given the same task, yeah, and we are data analysts, and even if we are given the same tool, let's say SQL, you'll find that possibly the way I will do it and the way the next person will do it and the other person is totally different. So because of that, one of the cutting edge in building a data science career is having a domain you understand well. So like as you chart your way as a data analyst or in the data science, try as much as possible to align it to a domain you understand well. For instance, if I've been in the banking industry for years, and because of that, let's say, let me give an example where I was maybe given a task to do a forensic investigation. When I say forensic, it doesn't always mean criminal. What it means is we are trying to trace a transaction because we don't understand. We are seeing there is a transaction and we don't understand its source, its origin, or where it's going. You know, there's something that is not clear about it. My domain, I've been in the banking industry long enough to know how data is stored for let's say banking transaction. I know for every credit, I must find a debit. So if I don't find a debit, I will know there's something wrong and I'll have to go and look for it. That is the cutting edge. And even in data science, they say, besides the model tuning and everything, there's always the domain knowledge. They emphasize, especially in data science, more than even these other facets of it, they emphasize domain knowledge. That is the cutting edge. Build the career around something that you understand well, yeah? So that at the end of the day, besides you know, just having the tools, knowing Python, knowing what, you are able to make the data speak something to people. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, the objective in the data domain is to communicate using data. So if let's say myself and somebody who is in value chain, if I may be more technical, if even the person is less technical than myself, but we are told to give a report, probably they may not give the fanciful visualization, but because they understand that domain, they are able to engage the people they are communicating to more effectively. So I encourage us to, you know, to build specifically into a domain that we understand well. And that is actually the edge that will give you, even with very little you know, technical know-how, even as you're starting out, especially, just being able to demonstrate that you understand this domain well enough gives you an edge above everybody else. Then, as I said, remember, the heavy lifting actually happens in the analyst's mind, yeah? The question they actually, even before, let's say, for instance, myself, and even the data scientist, even before he sits before a computer and starts writing a program, the heavy lifting still remains in the analyst's mind. Being able to conceptualize a problem and asking himself the question, like, for example, I was interacting with our data scientist one day, and one of the thing that I learned, which was very exciting, is you know, the way, like, for example, he would play with let's say something like interest vis-a-vis, let's say well, like how he establishes if we are to lend, let's say we open up the market, let's say to Mama Mboga and all that, what kind of interest are we you know, based on history, what kind of interest do we need to charge so that we can ensure that we are profitable? Yeah. How is it different if, let's say, we are lending, let's say maybe to now something like an established organization, let's say something like Safaricom, you know? So how do we play with the interest so that we are able to open up lending to more people? Yeah. How do we play with interest to ensure that we are able to lend to more people profitably? Remember, we are a business. How do we do that and avoid, you know, avoid the business, but you are making losses. Yeah. So as in, before he even sat on the computer, he had to think through, he had to think through a lot of scenarios. And that is the essence in the data world. Before you sit even before a computer, actually you need to have more of an analytical mind to enable you to work around with the, with the tools. Yeah. So the tool, it's the same way. I mean, you give me a ball and you give Messi. We have the same ball, but I cannot be able to do half the things he does. We know the same rules. And that's the same thing. Yeah, that's the same thing for data analytics. The other thing that maybe I would emphasize, nothing helps you as much as having a good mentor. It's important to have, actually a mentor makes a whole lot of a difference. Why? Because this mentor, whereas he's already in the market, he's able to see because he's a mentor possibly is somebody who is more established in the market, and he's able to see in which direction is the market going. They're able to tell you, I think, as you are investing into joining this domain, probably look more towards this direction. Lean towards this, because even today, had I known, for instance, had I known what machine learning and Python would be doing today, I would have started 10 years ago. But by the time we were seeing Python, I mean, that was like Python 2, version 2 and all that. We were wondering, now, what is this? Nobody even wants it. But had I seen, but I'm sure there's somebody who saw it then and realized this is the future of actually of programming. Yeah. So having a mentor helps. And when I talk of mentors, it doesn't have to be somebody you know. Sometimes some of the people I consider my mentors, they don't know me. Why? Because they are passionate in that domain, and because of that, they are publishing things for free. I follow them online. I discover, oh, the market is moving in this direction. I discover that there's this skill that is required and I don't have it. Yeah. And of course, also joining interest groups. Believe you me, half the problems that I encounter during my programming, I solve them not by even reading the manuals. I solve them by inquiring from other developers. And you'll be surprised in the interest groups, they are so willing to answer your question, because by doing so, they're also showcasing that they are good in what they are doing. So like, for instance, I'll give just one example. There's like, one of the things I encourage my class is, after learning SQL, there's a challenge done by a guy called Danny Ma, an 8 weeks challenge. I tell my students, try and take the 8 weeks challenge to assess your knowledge of SQL. So that tells you, I also follow Danny Ma. So when I'm busy in the office, him is busy researching on how else we can play around with SQL. Yeah. And because of that, instead of going for a whole class to learn this small skill, that I may need to augment my already acquired skill, I get it off from maybe one of his podcasts or something like that. Then, as I wrap up, I'll give, and this is a true story. Yeah, this is a true story. There was a guy, I think he was in the US, because I read it in the news. This guy, his work was perfect. He was a programmer. His work was perfect. He was very efficient. I mean, his programs were error-free. They were always delivered on time. He was getting bonuses. He was getting pay rise, and he was earning a six-figure. You can imagine a six-figure salary in dollars. So at one point, what happened? there was some infraction. Some people are trying to access their system. And when the security people tried to intervene, these people responded and said, no, we are not hackers. We were given credentials by so-and-so. We are working for this organization. That is when the people realized that actually this guy has not been doing the work. What he had done, he's an employee, he had subcontracted somebody else to be doing the work for him. In China, actually, he had subcontracted somebody from China to be doing the work for him. And because of that, he was able to deliver. Yeah, he was always able to deliver, and people thought he was very good. I am not encouraging us maybe to do that, but I am emphasizing the last thing that I have seen work: soft skills. Soft skills. I have solved more problems, and I have learned many things from more people, from people, than through a class. Yeah, the soft skill of being able to, to interact with others, to learn from others. I am being taught by people who left college. Actually, I've learned to be humble enough. There are people I've worked with who left college maybe in the last 3 years, and they're actually quite good in what they are doing. And because of that, I have learned to be humble enough to allow them to teach me, to correct me and tell me, actually, we are doing this and this is working. Yeah. I mean, and it has solved a lot of problems. I was mentoring a certain lady just at work, just in the last few months. And when I was, so focused on, my technical skill in SQL and all that, believe you me, she taught me something in Power Query that basically revolutionized the way I work. Yeah. She taught me a very simple thing. In fact, she thought I already know it, yet in actual sense, I didn't. Yeah. So this will not be taught in any class, but the interaction with other people, is able to give you the edge, yeah, the extra edge, such that you are able actually to meet your objective and to learn more things from other people without having to work twice as hard. Basically, what I'm saying is I have learned to mine the knowledge that other people have. Yeah, I've learned through soft skill, I've learned to interact with others and let them teach me what they also know. As I said, remember, work is not an exam. How you accomplish it, nobody cares. Yeah, how you accomplish it, nobody cares. But if you've been given some work to do, they expect you to deliver on it. I'll end it at that point and say that the world is too broad. I cannot even explore AI in totality. Yeah, I cannot explore the data world in totality. But I hope that I've been able to share the learnings that I've been able to learn. And in fact, some are regrets. I wish I had done before. Yeah, so that for those who are maybe starting out and are trying to establish a career in this domain, you can be able to see where maybe you can be able to chart your way better or to start out better. I will end it there. Thank you so much. Kennedy, Ken, you can take over the session.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much for that insightful session. Thank you for taking your time to share with us that invaluable knowledge. Let me check. Is Jane Kelly, if you're around, can you take over the next session? Welcome, John.
Maybe Ken, if you can allow me, let me just respond to a couple of questions that have been shared directly with me. Is that okay, Ken? Maybe.
Oh, yes. You'll answer that
Okay.
as well. Then Joy will also collect a few other open questions from the audience as well. But you can
See,
start.
these ones have been shared directly to me. So let me. You won't be able to see them. Let me respond to them. How does applied biology link with data science and data analysis? Remember, I don't have a domain knowledge when it comes to applied biology, but think of things like, in fact, let me give you a very practical example. Think of the COVID vaccine, yeah, or a cancer test, yeah, where we are testing whether, something is effective. Like the COVID vaccine, by the time they allowed the world to use it, they had applied a lot of data analysis. Yeah, they had to test and see how effective is it. What are the repercussions out of the people we've used as a test? What was the response? Yeah, and you can imagine how much analysis, how much data analysis and data science went into developing that vaccine. Yeah, I hope that answers you. Okay, I find it hilarious. Hello, doctor. Good afternoon. Do you mind expounding on how this data science relates to professions like accounting, marketing, and so forth? Now, let's see. In accounting, you have things like projections. Yeah, you have budgets. Yeah, you have cash flows. Yeah, you want to know that if for example I play around with the cash in a certain manner, what will be the outcome in the next few years? Same to marketing. In fact, marketing, yeah, marketing. For instance, I gave the example of where the data scientist is trying to analyze what is the impact of opening up, let's say, our lending to a different put an interest rate that will cover, that will be optimal, such that we will do that profitably. Because remember, as we open up the market, we are exposing ourselves to the risk of losing money. So we are trying to create an optimal point whereby, as we are lending to this new group, we know that the people who will pay will outweigh the people who will fail to pay, and we will be able to do it what is it called, profitably. Okay, this is personal, Peter. Peter, we can talk offline. That's okay. Okay, Sylvia, I've seen yours is just a comment. I encourage you to do that, but I'll not talk too much into it. Thank you so much. I think those are the only points I'll give. Somebody had asked for my contact. Maybe for now, I'll just share my in the group chat for anybody who would wish to reach out to me. But you can also reach out to me through through Predictive Analytics Lab. I can feel free to share my contacts with anyone, both my phone number and my other contacts. As you can see, I'm a bit old school. I doubt a good number of you use Yahoo. I have a Gmail as well, but for some reason, I established myself during the Yahoo period. So Ken, maybe you can take over the session.
But thank you very much for that. And John is going to open the floor for a brief Q&A session. So kindly, if you may have a question, just raise up your hand. Yes. If you have any question, kindly you can raise your hand. There's a reaction button to you on your screen. You should be able to raise your hand so that you get to answer all questions. I don't go back with an unanswered question. Yes, Mercy, who else? Just raise your hand so that you can establish an order for the questions. Great. So it's Mercy alone. Awesome. Thank you very much. Mercy, kindly go ahead, unmute and ask your question.
Thank you for the amazing session. My question is, how do I incorporate AI, or how do I merge AI with data analytics? Because I have some knowledge of AI, but in regards to data analytics, I have no knowledge. So how do I merge the two?
Okay. Maybe Mercy, the question I would ask is remember, maybe if as I said, the objective, it's not the tool that counts. It's not the how you're doing it that counts. It's the objective. For instance, if let's say data analytics will enable you to have better data. You see, by analyzing the data beforehand. For instance, let's say you have volumes of data, and you want to refine your AI tool. I'm just giving it as an example. Then the part of data analytics is to show you which parameter, like for instance, which parameter will better suit my objective. So don't focus too much on the tools. Focus on what is your objective. What do you want? Let's say your data. What do you want the data to communicate? Yeah. For instance, given different, let's say different models. There's a model we'll train, and you find that gender is more important than even age. There's a model we will train and find that not just age, although not just actually even the region of the person matters. It outweighs the age or the so data analytics. That area is, let's say, data analytics mostly comes into play in preparing the data for now the other consumers of the data. As I said, profiling the data and ensuring that the data that you're consuming is relevant. But as I said, focus more on what is the objective. What do you want to be the outcome at the end of the day? Because once you understand that, then the tool is not very critical. Yeah, and you'll be able to establish where it plugs into. Like for instance, you sound like you want to you're building more into the AI world, right? So will getting just any data work, or would you want to refine the data that you receive to feed into your AI model? I don't know whether I've answered you, or maybe you may want to add another question for clarification. Mercy?
Yeah, you have answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think there's somebody else, Sylvia. Sylvia has a question.
Yes, I hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. So my question will be like right now, I want to transition to data analysis. I've been doing more of the Power BI
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
on Microsoft. Like I was looking for the certification on Microsoft. But I wanted to do the PEL 300 certification, right? But I have seen, I have heard you really talk about the Oracle certification. Like, can you expound more on that? Okay, like I'd really like to know on the different, on the on the importance of the different certifications, because I believe there's Microsoft, there's Oracle. I also have
Okay.
IBM, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, for me, Oracle, or why I did Oracle, I would say is because one, that is a technology that I am using, you know, or rather I've worked with Oracle for a very long time. Personally, I would encourage you, you see now, Oracle, for instance, does not do, it's an SQL, it does not do visualization. So I would also encourage you to pursue the Power BI. I mean, it means you will be able, basically, let me say, it will show that your interest is towards visualization. Me, I wanted to, when I certified in Oracle, I wanted to demonstrate that my interest is geared towards being a business intelligence developer or a data analyst. You see, me, I only deal with figures. Or rather, I have the skill, and if called upon, I would still be able to use. I've also learned a bit of Power BI, but I've not focused on visualization. I've focused on data analysis, you know, or rather data wrangling. Let me call it data wrangling. Yeah. So it depends which space you want to build your tower in, given the analogy I gave of a broad base and a tall tower. So I would say, like, probably your tall tower should be around Power BI. Yeah. But there's no harm in building a base of knowledge around SQL and all the other things. You don't have to get all the certifications, because on the other hand, these certifications, most of them expire after a very short while. So you don't want to have invested a lot of money into a certification, then in the next 3 years, it's obsolete, okay? But you see, for me, because my domain is around Oracle, there's no harm. It's paying itself. I mean, I recertify, it's still paying itself. So, yeah, what I would just say is, if you're going for visualization, then go for it. Go for the Power BI certification. For me, as I am more focused on data wrangling, that is why I am certifying in that domain. I hope that answers you, but if not, you can, as I said, ask another question so that I be able to or rather, a clarifying question.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Okay.
Great, awesome. Guys, thank you very much, David, for answering the questions. And also, I know when it comes to certifications, you can always reach out to Predictive Analytics. We'll always assist you in that. At this point, to usher in, Ted, sorry, guys, we're supposed to end at 3:30. We've taken a little bit of time. So just pardon us, Kidogo, to extend for the next 2 minutes, and then we'll call the session to a close. But allow me, usher in Ted, to continue the rest of the session. Ted?
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible. We've interacted with a few, and I'll just give a remark of the webinar. Yeah, so on behalf of Predictive, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. David, for sharing his insights and expertise. I'm hoping he has inspired each and every one of us to explore the vast opportunities that AI and data analytics present. Thank you all for attending today's webinar. I believe your curiosity to learn more and upskill is what drives the success of events like this. And we appreciate your time, sacrifice, and interest in our program. Lastly, my special thank you goes to our organizing team, our ambassadors, our administration and sales team, for their dedication and hard work in making this event a success. Your efforts behind the scenes have ensured that everything runs smoothly. As I conclude, let's remember that the journey into the realm of AI is just beginning, as mentioned by our speaker. I hope you leave here today with new knowledge, connections, and inspiration to take your careers to the next level. So thanks once again, and we look forward to seeing you to our future events. Thank you so much, Ken, and happy afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ted. So guys, as usual, this will bring us to the end of the session. I just want to encourage you in whatever it is that I feel that you're interested in. Very much welcome. Great, awesome, Boris. You're very much welcome. Current intake is ongoing for the session that we're going to start on blockchain, artificial intelligence, and data science, soon beginning on 27th of July. That's some 10 days away. So you can register as early as now. Just visit our website and book a session. That's predictiveanalyticslab.ai. You can always book a session with us. Also, you can follow us through our social media pages. That's at Predictive Analytics Lab on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X as well. We are also on TikTok under the same name. Follow us and get to interact with the content. You can always book a session at any point in time. As I thank you so much, guys, for your patience. And I want to wish you all a very lovely afternoon. And may we all aspire to learn, relearn, and unlearn where possible. Thank you and have yourself a lovely afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.